Hello everybody, my name is Maxim and this is part 1 of my Midget electric conversion. I started this project in October 2019 and it's now May 2020, so I have a fair amount of footage built up. In this footage I'm very bad at narrating, so I'll be doing a live reaction here so I can kind of add a bit of context, and besides, who doesn't love reaction videos? This part 1 is going to mainly focus on preparing the car for the electric conversion. So that involves removing the engine, gearbox and most other things from under the bonnet in order to prepare the car for electric components to be installed. Without further ado, let's crack right on. So the first order of business was to remove the bonnet to allow better access into the engine bay. Since everything in the bay pretty much is coming out, this is a bit of a no-brainer. Throughout this project I have mainly been working alone, but when I've started struggling, which happens quite a lot, I usually bring in my housemate, and here we are having a poke around the engine bay. Once the bonnet was off, my next order of business was to take the carburetors out, as well as all the other ancillaries around the engine to allow better access to remove the whole engine block as one. Ta-da! Here I have a full spanner set, but these are easiest to get to with the wrench. Spanners, just in case you need them. The carbs, like most other parts of this build, took about 10 times longer and used about 50 times more swear words than I originally thought. Relax. Fucking Jesus. Nasty. Smell my fingers. Leaded petrol, nothing like it. I hate myself sometimes. Ka-chow! Focus, you fuck. Yeah. Let's get to work. This thing's fucking useless. I guess we raw dogging it. I usually do like tools that bottom out. Oh, fuck, yeah. It's just sunk right into there. Ah, fuck. Finally. You slept. I saw that. Just kidding. Come on. I'm a retard. He's not wrong. Look at this. Look at this trick I just discovered. Mechanics hate it. Man discovers ways to get better access into engine. What's that on them? Oh, come on. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Come on, you fucker. On. Oh my god, come on out. She's finger loose, boys. Oh, there we go. Hey, Fever Gang, big up. I'm going to take these little bars with it. On to number 2, but I'm going to turn your flash on. Maybe you too, actually. Oh my god! You're done. There we go. And there we go. Very disgusting looking heat shield. Does the job at least. What did it cost you? And now that it's off, it's a good idea to grab some paper towels and shove them in your holes. I'm doing this because I want to sell the engine, so keeping it in good nick is advisable. Fuck! No kitchen roll. Can I use toilet paper? So as long as you block it, it's actually all Gucci. Ta-da! Any holes a goal? Yes, at the time I was trying to grow a moustache. Hello, welcome back. Today, skip forward in time a little bit. I've taken off the ancillaries. I can't get out of frame. The ancillaries, which are just around the corner, and I think I'm ready to nearly take the engine out. So, ancillaries were boring anyway. I wasn't making any progress on them while I was filming, so I took a bit of a break from that and just seshed them all out in the evening. Okay, so you can see there aren't any carbs on. The manifold's still there, which I'm probably not going to take off. You see the ignition system still present. No, you can't see the ignition system is still present, but I promise it is. Taking that off, alternator, yada yada yada. Most things, you know, I haven't taken off. Only the things that I really actually need to remove to get access to the engine mounts, which are down here, essentially. Still debating whether or not to take the engine and gearbox out together. It's a tricky one. I don't have a gearbox jack, so I think I'll try and take them out together. Doesn't look too awful, you know. I've seen people do it with the stuff on, but I'm probably going to take the bodywork off as well. So I guess I'm going to start off taking off some of these bodywork panels. So to immediately contradict myself, I didn't end up taking the engine and the gearbox out together. I probably should have though, as doing them separately probably added a lot more ball ache than there should have been. Much like the carbs, taking the wing off was a massive pain. The hardware on it is about 40 years old, so lots of it was very stuck and rusted and very tricky to undo. But eventually I got there, although I didn't film it because night had fallen and I couldn't be asked. Yes, and then I did forget to film myself removing the engine. So once I had the engine out, it was time to get the clutch. The clutch has a spline in which mounts to the gearbox and allows them to couple together solidly. And there we have it. Look at that. Made in Great Britain.
Muppets on Facebook thinking you're bad, mate. I like your last one of your birds.
Okay, so I've worked out the next steps. The spline here is what we're after. It's being held in this sort of... Can you see that? No. And that's held between this plate and this plate, which carry the plates and the springs, I guess. And yeah, they trap it. And there's a rivet that goes through here to here, holding them all together. So I'm going to cut it. Just heads off these rivets and then the sprocket carrier should come out easily. Once the spline is out, my plan is to make a coupler so that I can solidly mount this spline to the motor, and then the gearbox and motor will be almost forced into concentricity. That was scarily quick. So this is a reminder of how powerful these fucking tools are, man. Jesus. Gnawed off metal 4 times in like 5 minutes. There we go, there we go. Pull it to, twist to the wrist. Only bikers get that one. Yanni noob, am I right? Oh, mama. Oh, the beating heart of the clutch. The spline. This is the part that we're going to cut down. The spline. Alright, now, my next part of the plan is to remove the gearbox, which you should be able to see in there a little bit. Yeah, I'm not very good at using Sony Vegas. To do this, I've decided it's best to lower the car down. So, I'll be removing all the hardware and stuff that I've got balanced on top and relieving it from the jack stands and rolling it out. Right now, the gearbox is mounted, well, it's supported pretty solidly on the chassis. It's just resting there. It doesn't look like it's going to fall out the bottom of the car, so I'm happy with that. So here I am disconnecting the gearbox from the rest of the drivetrain. The prop shaft will be left to kind of dangle in the housing. There we go, one down. Okay, so I've got the car half out the garage, and I need to take the gearbox out now. New mic alert. There are 2 bolts underneath holding it in, which are too hard to film, so I'll just give you the gratuitous shot of me fumbling the gearbox out of place. And when I say fumbling, I mean fumbling. I think I'll turn the handbrake on. Bruh. She ain't just heavy, she's fucking heavy.
As a mechanic, it's always handy to keep a skateboard on deck
Get it?
for a tricky job
Get it?
like this.
On deck.
Don't forget your adequate footwear.
Of all the things in the video that you shouldn't copy, this ranks number 1. Oh! Who ordered all the ass, bro?
Where did I put my pliers? In the pocket. So, to save time with removing the clutch, I've cut the clutch pipe. To save time with fuck me. To save time with the clutch removal, I've just cut the pipe because I don't care about the clutch anymore. I'm also gonna try and cut the fuel pipe because, again, ain't needed.
When I talk about the clutch here, I'm referring to the master cylinder, which sits in the gearbox.
Even more basic, I just snapped it. I bent it back and forth until it's fatigued.
No, there is 0 chance that I could have possibly got a better angle on the shot.
Never underestimate the value of a knife.
He's not wrong.
We gotta get creative.
So here I was trying to figure out how to lift the gearbox from 2 ends while only using one body. That's me.
20 minutes in, and I've just got the gearbox free of the car, but the shit's too heavy to pick up on its own, so I'm gonna put some strapping around it and use the crane if I can. Oh no. Alright, I'm gonna have to move the car back to get the crane in properly. This is a little tricky as the gearbox is on a skateboard. Well, half on a skateboard and half in the car. Well, we'll see how it goes.
I originally thought this would be really difficult to do, but it turns out the skateboard is actually a perfect tool for this. If you have something hanging half out your car, then it will allow it to roll with the car to a certain extent. No? Why would I need to move my camera? If I could change one thing about this build, I would get a house with a driveway that isn't cobbled. Moving an engine crane across cobblestone is actually one of the hardest things in the world. You think putting a man on the moon was hard? Try taking a 300 kilo engine across a cobblestone driveway. I had so many bra moments on this build, let me tell you.
So the engine crane won't fit under the suspension. I've encountered this problem before, but I'd forgotten. Ah! There's one wire still attaching it. I'm not sure what it does, so I'm just going to cut it. Wish me luck.
It was the reversing lights. Straight face gang.
And the speedo cable is also still in there, which I'm glad I didn't cut.
Having a mechanical speedo connected to the gearbox is actually a huge advantage for electric cars. It means you don't have to do any processing on data or anything to work out how fast you're going. Just link up the old speedo cable and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Vsauce, Michael here.
That is one free gearbox. Hell yeah!
This may not look like much, but this is actually the culmination of like 3 months' work trying to work out how to get this goddamn engine and gearbox out. You know, I was pretty stoked.
Okay, now I'm moving the car back in.
At this point it had started to rain, so my priority was getting the car to bed before it got even rustier. Be nice, I'm only one man. I'm not that strong. One unintended consequence of removing the gearbox is that the prop shaft now flops loosely in the gearbox tunnel. This creates a lot of resistance, which actually makes the car super difficult to maneuver around on the drive and push about. You can just about manage it with one person. Two would be nice. R.I.P. that oil drum. Dude, again with all these thick shots, bro. I'm being too good to you guys. As I'm reusing the gearbox, keeping it in good nick and being kind of careful with it was definitely a priority here. That's why I've been using the engine crane to carry it around, even though it is possible to lift it by hand. And there we have it. All the components removed from the engine bay, gearbox out, engine out, and car is ready for electric components to be put inside. This concludes part 1, the preparations. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you have any tips, advice, comments, feedback, stick them below. I'd love to know of as many ways as possible to make this project less shitty. And until next time.
Keep your dick in a vice.
Let's get some pussy tonight.